If you've been teaching drama in any capacity, you know that the first thing students ask when they walk into your classroom or space is, "What play are we going to do?" That's because they're so excited to get working on a script. But they're not quite ready yet. They still need to learn the tools of vocalization, projection, articulation, characterization. So, practice scripts offer an excellent way to introduce students to the concept of working with scripts, but in an easy, fun way where they can still develop their skills. So, in this video, we'll be talking about what practice scenes are and how you can use them to help your students get working with scripts right away. So, what are practice scenes? Practice scenes are short scenes that are not connected to a play. They are standalone, and they differ from open scenes in that there is actually a scenario, whereas open scenes usually lack any kind of context. So they're 1 to 2 page short scenes, generally between two actors, that have a scenario such as something that's happening between a parent and a child. And these short scenes allow students to start experimenting with developing a character, listening and responding, and using natural sounding dialogue. So, why use practice scenes? Well, as I mentioned before, young actors are often very eager to start working with a script, but they are not quite ready yet. They need to learn the skills required of an actor. So, the number one reason to use practice scenes is so that you can coach them. So, you can gauge their level of comfort with being on stage. You can coach them with their vocalization, characterization, blocking, movement. So, it's a great tool for you as an instructor to help them develop their skills. What's the best way to start working with practice scenes? Well, with any drama activity, it's always best to start with warm-ups. Let your students know that all professional actors always start by warming up their bodies, their voices, and their imaginations. So start with at least something like tongue twisters or something, a movement activity that can get them settled into their bodies and a little bit more relaxed. Once you've done the warm-ups, you can introduce the practice scenes and put your students in pairs and give them a few minutes with the practice scenes themselves where they can decide what their relationship is, what's happening in the scene, maybe what happened right before the scene. How do the characters feel about each other, and what does each character want? So give them a few minutes to familiarize themselves with a little bit of context behind the scene and the dialogue itself, and then have them practice as a pair for maybe 10 minutes. Then share the scenes in front of each other in class and ask the students for feedback. And you can ask things like, did you understand the relationship clearly? Could you hear the actors? What was the relationship between the two characters? So try to stay on things that are more neutral than did they do a good job. And remind everyone that we're all there learning and we're here to improve. One important tip in working with practice scenes is to encourage young actors to put the focus on their scene partner and really listening to what the scene partner is saying rather than delivering their lines. That way, they get a more natural response to what their scene partner is saying to them. So, if you have students who've maybe run through it one time, you can ask them to do it a second time where they really put the focus on responding to the person in the scene rather than just how they're saying their own line. So that usually results in a much more natural sounding line delivery. There are also a few fun ways to extend and adapt this activity. For example, you can ask the students to, once they've gotten the scene down, maybe even memorized, they can add blocking, which means adding movement to the scene. Or you could try having everyone in the class perform the same scene so that actors can see how differently a scene can be when performed by different actors. Another fun activity is to give them the practice scenes and a genre. So you could say, okay, I'd like you to run the scene again, but this time I want you to deliver it as though you were in a soap opera or a documentary or a sitcom. So they can mix it up and add another element of, a different type of delivery, different genre. Another thing that you could do is ask the students to take the scene home and write a scene that occurred just before that scene or after that scene, so they can practice their imagination skills in playwriting. So you can see that using practice scenes offers an excellent way to introduce young actors to script work. Now you can write your own practice scenes, or we have 3 sets of 20 practice scenes ready for immediate download on Drama Notebook. They were so popular that we created 3 whole sets. And this is important, especially if you're teaching drama on an ongoing basis, that you have plenty to choose from, because it will keep your students freshly inspired and it will keep you from getting bored with the same old practice scenes. Each set includes 20 scenes for young actors, and then a set of discussion questions and complete instructions and some extension activities. But it also includes at least one set, or at least one scene that has 3 actors, so that if you have an odd number of students, you don't have to actually participate in the activity. And if you're working with early readers, we have a whole collection of short scenes for early readers as well, with really fun themes like fun and friendship and fairy tales and folk tales. So we try to provide a lot of material so that you don't get bored and the kids all stay engaged. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that you received a little bit of inspiration or one new little nugget of information that will help you in teaching drama. I am totally here to support you, as is my team on Drama Notebook. And I will go ahead and put a link to all of the practice scenes that we have on the site. If you're watching this on YouTube, there will be a link below. And if you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe and share it with a teacher you think might be helped or inspired by this video.